He does not look at her, not at first. He simply looks at the plans spread across the table, the ones his hands know better than her father's. The crisp blueprint paper, a sea of white lines on a deep blue field, holds a truth she is only just beginning to understand. A truth that has cost him everything and is about to restore it all. Stay with me to the end. Subscribe. Drop the words "stay" in the comments. The morning air in Liam's small house smells of three things. It smells of salt from the sea that laps against the pilings less than 50 yards from his door. It smells of old wood and varnish from the workshop that is more a part of the house than a separate room. And it smells of the toast he is carefully not burning. His daughter, Maya, sits at the small wooden table he built. She is 6 years old. Her feet do not touch the floor. They swing in a steady, happy rhythm. "Is it an adventure day, Daddy?" she asks. Her voice is the fourth smell, the one that smells like hope. Liam places the plate of toast in front of her. He does not smile with his mouth. He smiles with his eyes, a slight crinkling at the corners that only she can read. "Every day is an adventure day," he answers. His voice is low and calm, like the sound of a well-tuned engine. He sips his coffee. It is black. It is strong. It is hot enough to chase the persistent chill from his bones, a chill that has nothing to do with the coastal fog. They have a routine. It is a thing of quiet precision, a bulwark against the chaos that took his wife and left him with only Maya and his hands. Breakfast, a walk along the shingled beach to gather sea glass, then the workshop. Today he is working on the Sea Lark. It is a small 20-foot wooden skiff that has seen better decades. Rot has claimed parts of the transom. The bright work is faded to a dull, peeling grey. To anyone else, it is firewood. To Liam, it is a puzzle, a history. He runs his hand over the gunwale. The wood is thirsty. It speaks to him in a language of texture and grain. He listens. Maya sits on a low stool, carefully sorting screws into a magnetic dish. She calls it her treasure. She is careful not to make too much noise. She understands that her father's work requires a certain kind of quiet. He does not have a contract, not a real one. The work on the Sea Lark is for a neighbor, an old fisherman who pays him in fresh flounder and stories. It is not enough. The bills on the counter, tucked neatly under a worn brass sextant, are proof of that. He does not look at the bills. He looks at the wood. He picks up a block plane, its metal body heavy and cool in his palm. The blade is honed to a surgical edge. He takes a shaving. It curls up, thin as paper, smelling of cedar and thyme. This is his world. It is small. It is quiet. It is built of integrity and held together by love for the small girl sorting his screws. It is all he has left, and it is, for now, enough. Eleanor Vance does not like the shipyard. It smells of diesel and low tide. The sounds are jarring, the shriek of grinders, the percussive blast of rivet guns. It is a world of raw, messy creation, so different from the sterile quiet of the boardrooms where she has spent her entire adult life. This shipyard, Vance Marine, is hers now. A legacy from a father she loved but never truly understood. He had loved this noise, this smell. He had called it the sound of things being born. She walks the main floor of the assembly building, her heels clicking on the concrete, a sharp, out-of-place sound. At her side is Marcus Thorne. He is the company's chief operating officer. He is handsome, impeccably dressed, and has an answer for everything. He was her father's right hand. He is now hers. "The quarterly projections are solid," Marcus is saying, his voice a smooth balm against the industrial chaos. "We're streamlining, focusing on the more profitable composites. moving away from sentimentality. He gestures vaguely toward a far corner of the building. There, a man is on his knees, inspecting the caulking on a small, classic speedboat. He is alone. He works with a focused intensity that seems to create a bubble of silence around him. That, for example, Marcus says, his tone laced with a dismissive pity. That's Liam. Eleanor's eyes fix on the man. He wears simple canvas work pants and a grey Henley. His back is to them. He was a favourite of your father's, Marcus continues. Old school. Good with his hands, I'll grant you. But he resists every innovation. He's a boat builder, Eleanor. We're in the business of manufacturing luxury marine assets. Eleanor feels a pang of something, a need to prove she is not her father, that she is not sentimental, that she understands the cold calculus of modern business. He's finishing a repair on the Comet, a vanity project of Dad's, Marcus adds, seeing his opening. It's taking up a valuable bay. The hours he's billing are absurd. She strides toward him. Marcus follows, a small, triumphant smile playing on his lips. Liam does not hear them approach over the whine of a distant saw. He feels their shadow fall over him. He looks up. His eyes are a startlingly clear grey, the colour of the sea just before a storm. They meet hers. There is no deference in them, just a quiet, steady assessment. You're Liam, she states. It is not a question. He nods once. He does not stand up. I'm Eleanor Vance. I know, he says. The words are simple, holding no warmth. Mr. Thorne tells me this project is running over budget and behind schedule, she says, her voice colder than she intends. She is performing for Marcus, performing for the ghost of her father. Liam's gaze does not waver. He looks from her to Marcus, then back to her. He sees the entire dynamic in a single, silent beat. The work takes the time it takes, he says, to do it right. We don't have time for right in that sense anymore, Eleanor says, parroting a line Marcus had used in a meeting just that morning. We have deadlines. We have margins. This bay needs to be cleared for the new composite hull molding. We're terminating the restoration. The words hang in the air. A few workers nearby have stopped what they are doing. They are watching. It is a public dismissal, a public shaming. Liam stares at her for a long count, for exactly 3 seconds. He does not argue. He does not protest. He does not mention that her father commissioned this work himself, a final gift to an old friend. He does not defend his craftsmanship or his timeline. He simply gives one small, final nod. All right, he says. Then he turns back to the boat. He begins to wipe down his tools with a clean cloth. Each movement is deliberate, unhurried. He places a chisel in its leather roll. He coils a cord. He closes a can of sealant. He is packing up his integrity piece by piece. Eleanor stands there feeling a strange, hollow victory. She has asserted her authority. She has been the CEO. But she cannot shake the feeling that she has just failed an important test. She watches him for another moment, but he does not look at her again. He just works. Quiet. Contained. She turns and walks away, the sound of her heels sharp and brittle on the concrete floor. The office is perfect. It is all glass and steel and polished mahogany. It overlooks the marina where dozens of gleaming white yachts, all built by Vance Marine, bob gently in their slips. It was her father's office. Now it is hers. It feels like a cage. Eleanor sits behind the massive desk, a fortress of wood and leather. In front of her is a tablet displaying sales projections, efficiency metrics, supply chain logistics. It is a language she understands. It is a language of control. But her mind is not on the numbers. Her mind is in the corner of the assembly building. It is on the quiet man with storm-grey eyes. The work takes the time it takes to do it right. The simplicity of the statement echoes in the silent, opulent room. It feels more real than any of the data on her screen. She replays the scene. His lack of reaction. That was the thing that bothers her. He had not been angry or cowed or resentful. He had simply accepted, as if her decision was a minor inconvenience, a change in the weather. It was as if he knew something she did not. A good move today. Marcus stands in the doorway holding 2 glasses of whiskey. He walks in without being asked, places one on her desk. "It sends a message," he says, sinking into one of the leather chairs opposite her. "That the old ways are over, that we're a forward-facing company now." "Tell me more about him," she says, ignoring the drink. "Liam." Marcus takes a slow sip of his whiskey. He swirls the amber liquid. "There's not much to tell," he says with a casual shrug. "He's a relic. Your father had a soft spot for him. Took him on when he was just a kid. Liam was devoted in his way, but he never saw the bigger picture. He's all about the grain of a single piece of wood, not the forest." "Was he a good boat builder?" "He's a good carpenter," Marcus corrects, the distinction sharp. "Building boats is a science now. Materials engineering, hydrodynamics, CAD modeling. He still thinks it's an art form." She looks out the window at the yachts. They are beautiful, perfect, identical. She cannot shake his eyes from her memory, the steadiness of them, the quiet dignity in the face of her manufactured authority. "What will he do now?" she asks. Marcus finishes his whiskey. "Find another hobby horse to work on. Don't worry about it, Eleanor. You did the right thing. You were a leader today." He says the word leader as if it is a prize he is awarding her. She does not feel like a leader. She feels like an echo. Rain lashes against the windshield. The wipers struggle to keep up, their rhythmic slap a frantic, failing heartbeat against the deluge. Eleanor's knuckles are white on the steering wheel. The car had sputtered twice, then died. Completely. She's on a narrow coastal road, miles from the nearest town. There is no cell service. The digital clock on the dashboard glows a mocking 10:17 p.m. The world outside the car is a churning chaos of wind and water and blackness. She had been driving aimlessly, trying to escape the sterile perfection of her father's house, the oppressive weight of his office. Now she is trapped. For 20 minutes she sits in the dark, the feeling of helplessness a cold knot in her stomach. It is an unfamiliar sensation. Then, headlights. They appear in her rearview mirror, cutting through the curtain of rain. They slow. A truck, old and slightly battered, pulls up behind her. Its engine is a low, steady rumble. For a moment, fear flickers. A woman, alone, on a dark road. But then the driver's side door opens. A figure gets out, silhouetted against the beams. He is tall. He moves with a steady, unhurried purpose. He wears a heavy canvas jacket, its collar turned up against the wind. He walks to her window. She lowers it a few inches. The man leans down. It is him. Liam. His face is slick with rain. His grey eyes are calm, assessing. He does not seem surprised to see her. "Engine's dead," she says, the word sounding small and useless. He does not reply. He just nods. He walks to the front of her expensive, useless car. He opens the hood. A small work light attached to his jacket clicks on, casting a pool of focused white light into the engine bay. She watches him in the rearview mirror. He is not flustered by the rain, by the dark. He simply works. His hands move with an economy and confidence that is mesmerizing. He touches a hose, checks a terminal, traces a wire. After a few minutes, he walks back to her window. Distributor cap is cracked. Water got in. He holds up the small plastic piece. Even in the gloom, she can see the hairline fracture. "Can you fix it?" she asks. "I can get you to town," he says. He goes back to his truck. He returns with a small toolkit and a can of something. He works for another 10 minutes. She watches, fascinated. He is a man completely at home in the heart of a mechanical problem, in the heart of a storm. He closes the hood and comes back to her window. "Try it now." She turns the key. The engine catches, sputters, then purrs to life. The relief is so profound, it feels like a physical blow. "It won't last forever," he says over the engine's hum. "But it will get you home. Get it replaced tomorrow." She's about to thank him, to offer him money, when she notices she is shivering. The cold has seeped deep into her bones. He sees it too. Without a word, he shrugs off his heavy canvas jacket. It is worn, smelling faintly of sawdust and motor oil and rain. "Here," he says, holding it out. She hesitates. "Take it," he says. It is not a request. She takes it, pulling it around her shoulders. It is surprisingly warm. It feels like a shield. It is then that a small voice pipes up from his truck. "Daddy, is the lady okay?" A small face is peering over the dashboard. Maya. Liam turns his head. "She's okay, sweet pea. Go back to sleep." He turns back to Eleanor. His expression is unreadable. He does not mention the shipyard. He does not mention her car, her title, her father. He has simply solved a problem that needed solving. As he stands there, the rain dripping from his hair, Maya's face appears at the passenger window of the truck, which she has rolled down. She looks at Eleanor, huddled in her father's enormous jacket. Her expression is one of serious, childish concern. "Are you sad?" Maya asks, her small voice cutting through the sound of the wind and rain. "Your eyes look like the sea when it's angry." Eleanor is stunned into silence. A 6-year-old girl has just seen straight through the armor she has spent a decade building. She has seen the grief and the confusion and the fear. Liam puts a gentle hand on his daughter's head. "Time to go, Maya," he says softly. He looks at Eleanor one last time. "Drive safe." Then he turns and walks back to his truck, gets in and drives away. His tail lights disappear into the rain, leaving her alone in her running car, wrapped in the warmth of his jacket, the child's question echoing in the sudden quiet. The next morning, Eleanor is in her father's office, but she is not working. She is holding Liam's jacket. She brings it to her face. It smells of integrity. She needs to understand. She bypasses the corporate servers and goes directly to the physical archives, a dusty, climate-controlled room in the shipyard's oldest building. It is a library of past projects, of triumphs and failures. She searches for her father's personal project files, the ones he kept separate. She doesn't know what she is looking for. A name, a clue, an explanation for the man who fixes things in the rain and has a daughter who can read people's souls. She finds a drawer labeled Speculative Design. It is full of ambitious, half-formed ideas. And then she sees it. A thick file labeled Project Albatross. She pulls it out. The cover sheet lists the lead designer, Liam. She opens it. It is a concept for a revolutionary hull design. It uses a combination of traditional wood laminates and modern composites to create a shape that promises unprecedented stability and efficiency. It is radical. It is beautiful. She flips through sketches, calculations, small-scale test results. The work is meticulous, brilliant. It is art and science woven together. Then she finds the review summary. It is dated 6 months before her father's death. A single damning paragraph, signed by Marcus Thorne, dismisses the project as structurally unsound, commercially unviable, and rooted in outdated methodologies. A final, bold stamp reads, "Shelved," but tucked into the very back of the file, almost hidden, is a folded piece of notepaper. It is her father's familiar, strong handwriting. It is a note to himself. Marcus is blind. He sees the cost, not the value. Liam sees the truth in the water. Trust him. Always trust the man who trusts the wood. Eleanor's blood runs cold. Trust him. She had done the opposite. She had trusted the man in the suit, not the man with the calloused hands. She had torn down the very person her father had told himself to trust. She needs to talk to someone who was there. Someone who is not Marcus. She finds Ben in the loft above the old sail-making floor. He is an old man with hands like gnarled oak and eyes that have seen 70 years of tides. He is polishing a brass binnacle, his movements slow and reverent. He was her father's first hire. He looks up as she approaches, his expression wary. He has seen her in the company of Marcus Thorne. "Ben," she says, her voice quiet. "Miss Vance," he grunts, not stopping his work. "I want to ask you about Project Albatross." Ben stops polishing. He sets the cloth down. He looks at her for a long time, his gaze searching. He is deciding if she is her father's daughter or just the new boss. "What about it?" he asks, his voice gravelly. "Was it viable?" "Viable?" He lets out a short, harsh laugh. "It was the future. It was your father's magnum opus. And Liam's. They worked on it for years, nights, weekends, pouring everything they had into it. Marcus Thorne said it was unsound." Ben picks up his cloth again, his knuckles white. "Marcus Thorne knows how to read a spreadsheet. He doesn't know how to read the water. He fought that project from day one. He saw it as a threat. A threat to what? To his way. The fast way, the cheap way. Your father, Robert. He knew the soul of this company was in the craftsmanship, the innovation that comes from a deep understanding of the materials. That was Liam. Liam was the soul. Marcus, he's the balance sheet." Ben turns to face her fully. "Your father didn't just respect Liam. He learned from him. He used to say that Liam could feel a boat's flaws through the soles of his feet." He pauses, then adds, his voice dropping lower. "When your father died, Liam had a choice. He had a contract, a partnership stake in that project. He could have fought for it. He could have dragged your father's legacy and his company through a legal battle right when you were taking over, grieving." Eleanor feels the floor shift beneath her. "But he didn't," Ben says. "He packed up his drawings and he walked away, out of respect, for your father's memory, and for you." The truth of it hits her with the force of a physical blow. The quiet nod in the workshop, the lack of argument. It wasn't weakness. It was a profound act of grace. She needs to see him, not to talk, not yet, just to see. That afternoon she drives to the small public marina at the edge of town. She finds a reason, inquiring about slip fees at the harbour master's office. From the window she has a clear view of the docks. And there he is. He and Maya are on the deck of the Sea Lark. The boat is moored at the far end of a weathered dock. He's showing her how to sand a small piece of teak. Their heads are bent together, one large and one small, a study in quiet concentration. He is patient. He guides her small hand, showing her how to move with the grain, not against it. She is listening, her face serious. There is no audience. There is no paycheck. There is only a father, a daughter, and a piece of wood. There is only the work. She watches them for nearly an hour. She sees him laugh, a real laugh, when Maya gets a smudge of varnish on her nose. She sees him lift his daughter onto his shoulders so she can see a pelican diving for fish. This is his kingdom. It is not made of profit margins and market share. It is made of moments. It is made of integrity so deep it needs no announcement. She walks back to her car, the truth settling into her bones, heavy and undeniable. She has made a terrible mistake, and the man she wronged is the one person who truly holds the key to her father's legacy. Ben's words echo in her mind. He could have fought for it. A partnership stake, a contract. It means there is paper, there is proof, and her father was a man who kept records of everything that mattered. She drives not to her own sterile, modern house, but to her father's home, a sprawling but comfortable house overlooking the sea, a house she has been avoiding. It is too full of his absence. She goes straight to his workshop. It is separate from the main house, a sanctuary of drafting tables, tools, and the smell of sawdust and pipe tobacco. It is exactly as he left it. She looks for something Marcus would have missed, something personal. On the mantelpiece above the cold fireplace sits a collection of model boats. They are exquisite, detailed miniatures of vessels Vance Marine has built over the years, but one stands apart. It's a small, classic wooden skiff. It is a perfect, tiny replica of the Sea Lark. Her heart quickens. She picks it up. It is heavier than it looks. The tiny cabin on the deck feels loose. She twists it gently. It comes off. Inside, nestled in a bed of faded velvet, is a small, ornate brass key. She scans the room. Her eyes land on an old sea chest that serves as a coffee table. It is locked. She tries the key. It fits. The lock clicks open. No, not a sea chest. A drafting table, a flat file cabinet made of dark oak. One drawer has a small brass keyhole. She tries the key. It turns smoothly. The drawer slides open. Inside is a single, heavy leather folio, embossed with the gold letters R.V. Her hands are trembling as she lifts it out and places it on the drafting table. She unties the leather cord and opens it. The first document is the full, unabridged proposal for Project Albatross. The level of detail is staggering. It is a work of genius. The second document makes her gasp. It is a legally binding partnership agreement. It grants Liam a 20% stake in the Albatross project and the title of Chief Naval Architect for its duration. It is signed in her father's bold, confident hand. And it is signed by Liam, his signature clean and spare. But it is the third item that breaks her. It is a sealed envelope. On the front, in her father's script, is a single word, Eleanor. She tears it open. The letter is dated 2 weeks before he died. My dearest Eleanor, if you are reading this, it means I am gone, and it means you have started to look for the truth. I hope you found it. I hope you found him. There are things a man puts off saying. This is my attempt to remedy that. The future of this company is not in Marcus Thorne's spreadsheets. It is in the hands of Liam. He is more than a craftsman. He is an artist. He is the son I never had. He has a gift I have only ever seen in one other person, his grandfather, who taught me how to build my first boat. Project Albatross is our shared dream. It will change everything. But Marcus will fight it. He is ambitious, and he is poisoned by a jealousy I failed to address long ago. He will try to convince you it is a folly. He will try to erase Liam from the company's story. Do not let him. Liam is a man of profound, quiet honor. He will not fight for himself, especially not now. He will see your grief as a thing to be protected, not a field of battle. He will step back. He will let Marcus win for a time, because he believes protecting my daughter is more important than protecting his own interests. He made me a promise once, to look out for you if anything ever happened to me. He will keep it, even at his own expense. Your challenge is not to run this company as I did. It is to be wise enough to see the difference between a man who tells you what you want to hear and a man who shows you the truth without a word. trust Liam. The company's soul is in his hands. P.S. I have also learned that Marcus has been in quiet talks with a competitor. Be careful. Eleanor sinks into her father's worn leather chair, the letter shaking in her hand. Tears stream down her face, tears of grief, of shame, of a furious, clarifying rage. She knows what she has to do. She drives, the leather folio on the passenger seat beside her. She does not slow down until she sees the warm light of Liam's workshop spilling out into the twilight. He is there, planing a piece of cedar. The scent of it fills the air. He looks up as her car door shuts. He shows no surprise, just a quiet watchfulness. She walks into the circle of light. She does not say a word. She places the folio on his workbench on top of a neat stack of blueprints. He looks at the folio, at the initials R.V., then back at her. "I'm sorry," she says. Her voice is thick, raw. "I was a fool. I was arrogant. I didn't know." She gestures to the folio. "I found this. The contract. The letter." Liam puts down his plane. He wipes his hands on a clean rag. He looks at her, and for the first time, she sees past the stillness in his eyes. She sees the deep well of his own grief for his friend, her father. "Why?" she asks, the word a whisper. "Why didn't you say anything? You could have destroyed me. You could have taken what was yours." He looks away from her, out toward the dark water. He is silent for a long moment. "Because you were grieving," he says finally, his voice low. "And because your father was my friend. His memory deserved better than a fight over contracts and titles. It wasn't the time. The work would wait." He turns back to her. "He asked me to look out for you. He was worried you only saw the numbers. He wanted you to find your own way to the heart of it. Shouting at you in a workshop wouldn't have helped." The simple, profound decency of it is overwhelming. He had honored her. He had honored her father. He had taken the blow and waited. Just then, the door from the house opens. Maya stands there in her pajamas, rubbing her eyes. She holds a small, colorful plastic mug in her hands. She sees Eleanor's tear-streaked face, the tension in the room. She walks slowly toward them. She stops in front of Eleanor and holds up the mug. "I made you cocoa," she says, her voice small and serious. "Daddy says it helps when you feel wobbly." Eleanor crouches down to be at the little girl's level. She looks from Maya's earnest face to Liam's watchful one. She takes the mug. Her hands are trembling. The plastic is warm. "Thank you, Maya," she says, her voice breaking. The little girl gives a solemn nod, then wraps her small arms around Eleanor's neck in a hug. It is a gesture of pure, uncomplicated acceptance. In the quiet of the workshop, surrounded by the smell of cedar and the sea, Eleanor feels a piece of herself she thought was long dead click back into place. "The Maritime Innovation Summit is in 10 days, Eleanor says. They are in Liam's kitchen. It is late. Maya is asleep. The leather folio is open on the table between them. "It's the most important event in the industry," she continues, her voice gaining a new energy, a sharp edge of purpose. "It's the perfect place to unveil Project Albatross." Liam looks at the plans, then at her. 10 days? Eleanor, the physical models aren't finished. The fluid dynamics simulations need to be run on the final specs. "Can you do it?" she asks. It is a direct challenge. He holds her gaze, a slow nod. "I can do my part, but the presentation, the business case, that's my part," she finishes. "We work together." It is an agreement, an alliance forged over cold coffee and the ghost of a great man. The next 9 days are a blur of relentless work. Liam lives in his workshop, fueled by coffee and a fierce, rekindled passion. The sounds of saws and sanders fill the days and nights. He is no longer just a carpenter. He is a sculptor, an architect, bringing a dream to life in wood and resin. Eleanor transforms her father's house into a command center. She is on the phone day and night, talking to patent lawyers, materials suppliers, and key investors she trusts. She builds a fortress of data and legal protection around Project Albatross. She uses Marcus's own projections against him, showing how the new hull will not just innovate, but dominate the market. They speak every few hours. Their calls are short, efficient, stripped of all but the essential. "I need the final drag coefficient numbers," she'll say, her voice tight with exhaustion. "Sending them now." "The lamination sequence is holding. It's stronger than we thought," he'll reply, the sound of a power tool whining in the background. They are a team, a partnership. She does not command, she coordinates. He does not obey, he creates. On the 10th day, she does not drive to the summit. She calls an emergency meeting of the Vance Marine Board of Directors. The boardroom is silent, tense. The board members, old allies of her father, look at her with a mixture of concern and skepticism. Marcus Thorne sits at the opposite end of the long mahogany table, a smug, predatory calm on his face. He believes she is about to announce her failure, to cede control. "Thank you for coming on such short notice," Eleanor begins, her voice even and cold. "I have called this meeting to present a new strategic direction for Vance Marine." She begins her presentation. She doesn't talk about the past. She talks about the future. She lays out the science, the market analysis, the staggering profit potential of Project Albatross. The room is captivated. Marcus scoffs. "With all due respect, Eleanor, this is a fantasy. A ghost her father chased. This project was reviewed. It was deemed unviable." "It was deemed unviable by you, Marcus," she says, her gaze like ice. She clicks to the next slide. It shows the signed partnership agreement between her father and Liam. The room murmurs. "A sentimental document," Marcus says, waving it away. "Robert was not himself at the end." "And this?" Eleanor says, clicking again. The screen now shows encrypted emails, financial records, a clear, damning trail of evidence showing Marcus selling proprietary Vance designs to their largest competitor. It shows deposits into an offshore account. Marcus's face goes white. This is slander. Fabricated. "Is it?" Eleanor asks softly. "My father's letter mentioned you were careless." The door at the back of the boardroom opens. Liam steps inside. He is not wearing work clothes. He wears a simple dark jacket and trousers. He looks like he belongs. His hands are clasped behind his back. He walks to the back of the room and stands there, silent, his presence a heavy weight in the room. A board member, a man named George, looks from the screen to Marcus's pale face, then to Liam. "I don't understand. Liam, what is this project?" Marcus starts to bluster, to deny, but Liam moves. He walks forward to the table. He says nothing. He reaches into his jacket and pulls out an object wrapped in soft cloth. He unwraps it and places it in the center of the table. It is a model of the Albatross hull. It is about 2 feet long, carved from laminated wood and polished to a finish like glass. It is exquisite. A perfect fusion of nature and engineering. It is not a model. It is a promise. Liam rests his hand on it. "Robert Vance believed in it," he says, his quiet voice filling the silent room. "And the water will prove him right." That is all he says. His simple conviction, the undeniable truth of the object on the table, the weight of his integrity, it is more powerful than all of Marcus's lies. Eleanor looks at the board. All those in favor of removing Marcus Thorne as COO, effective immediately, pending criminal investigation. Every hand goes up, and all those in favor of fully funding Project Albatross, with Liam appointed as chief naval architect and partner, as per my father's original intent. Every hand stays up. Marcus Thorne slumps in his chair, defeated. 2 security guards enter the room and stand behind him. It is over. Liam looks at Eleanor. For the first time, he gives her a small, almost imperceptible nod of respect, of partnership. The air in the parking garage is cold and smells of concrete and exhaust. The fluorescent lights hum. The board meeting is over. Marcus is gone. The future has been rewritten. Eleanor and Liam walk toward their cars. They do not speak for a long time. The silence is not empty. It is filled with the echoes of the battle they just won. "Thank you," Eleanor says finally, stopping by the door of her car, "for trusting me. Eventually." Liam stops too, a few feet away. "You earned it," he says. "You found the truth. My part was easy." "Nothing about this was easy," she counters, "for either of us." He just nods, accepting this. "The work is what matters," he says, the phrase now holding a new, shared meaning. It's not just about boats. It's about rebuilding a legacy, rebuilding trust. She knows it's more than that now. She feels a pull toward him that has nothing to do with business or boats. It is a quiet, powerful gravity. "I'll see you at the workshop tomorrow," she says. "I'll be there," he replies. He gets in his old truck. She gets in her new sedan. They drive off in opposite directions, but for the first time, they are on the same road. A few days later, Liam is in his workshop, refining the full-scale templates for the Albatross hull. The familiar scent of cedar fills the air. A car pulls up. It's Eleanor. She is not wearing a suit. She is in jeans, boots, and a thick wool sweater. Her hair is pulled back in a simple ponytail. She looks younger, more relaxed, more real. She holds a thermos. "I brought coffee," she says. He wipes his hands and takes the cup she offers. It's hot and strong, just how he likes it. "I made a decision," she says, leaning against a workbench. "I'm not selling my father's house." He waits, watching her. "And I'm not running Vance Marine from a skyscraper in the city. The heart of the company is here. The soul is here." She gestures around the workshop. "I'm moving back. I'll oversee the project from my father's house." It is a monumental decision. She is the CEO of a multi-million-dollar corporation, and she is choosing to move to a small coastal town. She is choosing to enter his world, not pull him into hers. He processes this slowly. He understands the magnitude of the gesture. It is an act of commitment to the project, to her father's vision. And, he suspects, to something more. He turns away from her and walks to his main toolbox. It is an old, beautiful wooden chest. From the top tray, he takes out a tool. It's a spoke shave, its wooden handles worn smooth and dark with a century of use, its brass fittings gleaming. He walks back to her. "My grandfather gave this to my father," he says, his voice quiet. "Who gave it to me? He said it was for finding the true shape of things, even when the wood wants to hide it." He holds it out to her. It is not a gift. It is an inheritance, a passing of a torch. "I think your father would have wanted you to have it," he says. She reaches out and takes it. The wood is warm, impossibly smooth. It feels alive in her hands. She closes her fingers around it, a silent acceptance of the trust it represents. "To help you find the true shape of things," he repeats softly. She looks from the tool to his eyes. "I think I'm just starting to," she says. 3 months pass. The seasons turn. Autumn paints the coastline in hues of gold and rust. The prototype of the albatross, christened the Robert Fee, is in the water. It is a stunning vessel, sleek and powerful, a dark hull that seems to have been carved from the sea itself. It is faster, more stable, and more efficient than any boat Vance Marine has ever built. It is a triumph. Trade journals write glowing articles. The industry buzzes. Vance Marine's stock is soaring. They praise the visionary new leadership of Eleanor Vance and the quiet, revolutionary genius of her partner, Liam. Their new normal is a rhythm of work and quiet companionship. Long days at the shipyard, where Eleanor now has an office next to the design floor, and Liam leads a re-energized team of craftsmen. Evenings are sometimes spent at her father's house, poring over plans, or at Liam's small home, sharing a simple meal with Maya. They are a team. They are partners. They are, slowly, becoming something like a family. One Saturday the sky is a brilliant, cloudless blue. The sea is calm. "Let's take her out," Liam says. "Just us." An hour later they are miles from shore. The only sound is the whisper of the water against the albatross's hull and the cry of gulls overhead. Liam is at the helm, but he calls Maya over. He lifts her up and places her small hands on the wheel. His large, calloused hands rest gently over hers, guiding her. "Feel that?" he says to her. "That's the water talking to the boat. You have to listen." Maya's face is a mask of intense concentration and pure joy. Eleanor stands near the stern, watching them. She is not the CEO right now. She is just a woman watching a man she deeply respects teach his daughter how to navigate. A real smile, unguarded and warm, touches her lips. She feels a sense of peace that has been absent from her life for as long as she can remember. This, she thinks, this is the truth in the water. Later, the sun is setting, casting a fiery glow across the waves. They have docked the boat. A tired and happy Maya has been carried home and tucked into bed. Liam and Eleanor stand on his small wooden porch, the one that overlooks the dark, quiet sea. The lights of the distant marina glitter like fallen stars. They stand close, not touching, but close enough to feel the warmth from each other. The air between them is charged with all the things they have not yet said. "He would be proud," Liam says, his voice a low rumble in the stillness. "Of you." Eleanor turns her head to look at him. The last light of day catches the silver in his grey eyes. "He was proud of you too," she replies softly. "He just had a funny way of showing it." She allows herself a small, sad smile. "He left you to me to look after. Or maybe he left me to you." Liam considers this. A slow smile touches his own lips, the one that reaches his eyes. Maybe both. They fall silent again, comfortable in the shared quiet. They look out at the water, at the horizon where the sea meets the sky. The work is done. The fight is won. The truth has been found. And here in the stillness, a new thing, fragile and hopeful, is just beginning.